Good evening, everyone. My name is Angie Diaco, and tonight we will be talking about MMA fighter Alex Pereira claiming victory once again, Deion Sanders' health issues, and a recap to the Jaguars-Chiefs crazy finish. Stay with us for Anchor Point and finally wrapping up with Deckside Chats. Welcome to the Hall Zone. MMA fighter Alex Pereira has claimed another light heavyweight championship title, marking this his second to date. Pereira accomplished this in his latest match against Magomed Ankalaev at the UFC 320. The main event only lasted 80 seconds until Pereira was able to knock out Ankalaev and claim his title. He has now won 2 titles in 2 separate divisions, with his success in the UFC middleweight championship prior. Talks of Pereira moving up to the heavyweight division are in progress after his recent win proved him to be a strong contender. "I want to have a bigger challenge at heavyweight, and that's basically it," Pereira stated. He even shared his plans of wanting to fight at the White House in the near future. Following the loss against TCU, Colorado Buffaloes head coach Deion Sanders reportedly ran into some health complications. As a former baseball and football player, Sanders has publicly struggled with health issues in the past. He's dealt with these problems dating back to having 2 of his toes amputated back in 2021 due to blood clotting during his time coaching at Jackson State. Coach Sanders believes the pain he is currently feeling stems from those same previous health issue concerns of blood clots in his legs. Sanders opened up about the issue and said, quote, "I think I got more blood clots. Cat's out of the bag. I'm hurting like crazy," end quote. He informed the public that he was planning for a follow-up appointment on Monday to address these concerns. We're all rooting for him in his recovery and wishing him a healthy rest of the season.
Welcome to Pirate Perspectives. My name is Paul Brignola.
And I'm Adrian Beck. Today we're going around Seton Hall asking Pirates about the most heartbreaking moments for their sports teams, their favorite sports video games, and their favorite player that's not on their team.
Elijah, what was the most heartbreaking moment for your favorite sports team?
The most heartbreaking moment for me was when Arsenal did win the Premier League in the 2023 season. Hopefully this year we are going to win it. So yeah.
I wish you good luck. Do you have a favorite sports video game?
EAFC 26.
Good choice. What is your favorite player that's not from your favorite sports team?
I'll say Erling Haaland.
All right, who am I speaking with today?
Joey.
All right, Joey, what is the most heartbreaking moment for your favorite sports team?
I'm going to have to go Game 5 of the 2024 World Series, Yankees-Dodgers. Freddie Freeman hit that grand slam. Or I'm sorry, Game 1, actually. Freddie Freeman hit that grand slam. Kind of knew it was downhill from there. So that'll be my worst moment.
All right, what is your favorite sports video game?
Oh, Madden. Love Madden. I love football. I like you can go wrong with it. I'm a baseball guy, too, so I guess the show played in there.
The classic.
Yep.
Who is your favorite player that's not on your team?
I'm going to go Bryce Harper. I've always liked Bryce Harper, even when he was with the Nats. I wanted him to sign with the Yankees, but they just never gave him an offer, so he went with the Phillies. But, yeah, I like Bryce Harper. He's got that fire under him.
The Monday night football game proved to be one for the books. The Jaguars and Chiefs faced off in a close match, with the Jaguars leaving victorious. The Chiefs started off hot with a 14-0 lead, but the Jaguars were able to tie the game with touchdowns by Trevor Lawrence and Parker Washington. With 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter, the Jaguars took the lead after linebacker Devin Lloyd intercepted Patrick Mahomes for a 99-yard pick six. On their final drive and with 1 minute left in the game, Lawrence was able to deliver a perfect pass to wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr., gaining 33 yards. With only 23 seconds remaining, Lawrence dove into the end zone despite stumbling when his right guard stepped on his foot, securing the win for the Jaguars and leaving the final score 31-28. Lawrence told ESPN, quote, "It was a crazy, crazy finish," end quote. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes said, quote, "We've done that to ourselves all season long. It's so close that those moments change games," end quote. Stay with us after the break as we transition to Anchor Point, the official debate show of the Hall Zone. I'm Angie Diaco, and that was your sports news update.
All right, Omar, what is the most heartbreaking moment in your favorite sports team?
My most heartbreaking sports moment was when Game 1 of the 2017 NBA Finals, when LeBron had 51, 8, and 8, 63% from the field, had a phenomenal game, carried the Cavs all the way to the finals, and they ended up losing that game. Kevin Durant hit a walk-on three-point shot into LeBron's face, and they ended up losing that game. I was in 7th grade. I did not go to school the next day because I was crying so much. And yeah, that was probably the most heartbreaking sports moment I've ever had. Tragic.
What is your favorite sports video game?
Favorite sports video game? I'd probably go either one of the UFC games. I'm a big UFC guy. I love the UFC games, especially the brand new one. Or if we go back to NBA 2K, I think 2K20 was just a phenomenal game. I'd probably say that. All right. Who is your favorite player that's not on your favorite team? So I've always been a LeBron guy my whole life. So obviously, let's say I'm supporting the Lakers right now. But another guy that I really, really love supporting is Lonzo Ball. I know he's a meme and stuff like that, but I think he plays the game the right way, and I just always just support him since day one. And it's been tragic because of the amount of injuries that he goes through, but I think I've always backed him. So I'd probably say Lonzo Ball.
Edward, what's the most heartbreaking moment from your sports team?
I would say when Barcelona lost out to Inter Milan last season in the Champions League.
Tragic. Do you have a favorite sports video game?
It would be FIFA or EAFC.
Fair. Do you have a favorite player that's not on your favorite team?
I do. It's actually Mikhail Antonio.
Hello, my name is Will Gilhooly, and welcome to Anchor Point, the show where we debate the hottest topics in the sporting world. Alongside me are our fierce debaters, Sanaya Jones and Matthew Malchiotti. Let's get into our first question. Are referees biased in sports? We'll pass it over to Sanaya to start this debate, as she will be taking the stance for bias.
Thank you so much. I definitely think in sports there is a bias with the refs, and especially in football, that is seen with the most successful football teams. There's definitely biases towards them. There's inconsistencies with the calls by the refs, and I just want to take it back to 2012, the Hail Mary incident with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. He threw a Hail Mary that was intercepted by M.D. Jennings, and the ref called it a touchdown instead of an offense, instead of giving it to the offense, excuse me. And I just think with that, I think refs need to be more technical with their calls instead of just reviewing things and putting their own bias to it, because I definitely do think that when they make their calls, there are biases, and they just need to be straightforward with it. And the same can be same with the WNBA. There's a lot of bias with them as well, and there's a lot of inconsistencies with their calls, and that has made fans extremely frustrated. And I just think it insults almost the respect and the integrity of the game. So with that, even they need to be more fair, and they need to be more technical with their calls as well.
So I can definitely see where you're coming from, like how refs might be biased, especially in like some leagues like the WNBA and the NFL especially. But you have to remember that refs are professionally trained individuals in like their respective leagues and such. They obviously, like, some are going to make some mistakes and such, but human error does not equal bias. And for example, like I know there's a lot of like topics about like Patrick Mahomes, especially with like the Kansas City Chiefs, how it's almost become like a joke like online, especially like how the refs sort of favor like the Chiefs and such. At the end of the day, Mahomes is good, so obviously like he's not like the best quarterback in the world, but like I can definitely see why people are upset towards like refs. And like Mahomes obviously is a good NFL quarterback, and like he's going to get a lot of hate for like the plays that he makes and such. And I feel like it's sort of unfair that the refs like might favor like one player out of like all of the players in the NFL. But that's just my opinion.
I just want to go back to the point where you said that refs are professionally trained. Yes, they are professionally trained, but that doesn't mean that even within their work they can't have bias. Depending on what team they support, they are still human, so they can have their own bias even in their jobs. But yes, I do agree with some of your points that you've made as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see your argument too. Like there have been like instances, like especially in the NBA, like the 2002 like Western Conference Finals, that was a huge scandal when that broke out. But I mean, there have been like steps taken to prevent this from happening in the future. But I definitely do see your argument, and I respect your case.
Same here.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our second topic tonight. Matthew will be starting us this time, and our topic will be, is trash talk okay within the sporting world?
I mean, I kind of disagree with this statement, because trash talk is like part of the game, like right now. Like we can all agree with that. And I mean, there have been so many instances where, especially with like rivalry games, like the Mets and the Phillies, for example, or the Red Sox and Yankees, where like trash talk, especially within like fans, has been like leading to like fist fights and altercations and such. So I definitely don't feel like that sort of trash talk belongs in like leagues like the MLB, for example.
For sure. I definitely think that trash talk, there is a difference between being respectful with it and just being blatantly disrespectful with it. And I think it, in a sense, it is good for the competitiveness of the game. But when it starts getting to a point where it's leading to physical altercations, it's definitely not good. And I just think even for the players that do trash talking, if you don't like the player, instead of being blatantly disrespectful with it, just be respectful and say what you need to say and keep the game as the game. So yeah, I definitely think that trash talking should be, but it needs to be monitored to an extent.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree with you 100%. A little while back, there was an incident with Ketel Marte on the Arizona Diamondbacks. One fan said something to him about like his mother, and just involving like any athletes, like family and personal lives, is just completely too far. So that's why I feel like, you know, trash talk might need to like be toned down a little bit compared to like, just being like a competitive nature. But yeah, I definitely do see your argument.
Right, that is all from us at Anchor Point tonight. I'm Will Gilhooly with Sanaya Jones and Matthew Malchiotti. Thank you for tuning in, and now we'll toss it over to our friends at Open Discussion.
All right, who am I with today?
Zayn.
All right. What would you say is the most heartbreaking moment for your sports team?
Probably when the Celtics lost to the Knicks last year in the NBA playoffs.
All right. What is your favorite sports video game?
FIFA for sure.
All right. Who is your favorite player that's not on your team?
Probably Messi. He's not on Barca anymore. So yeah.
Who am I speaking with today?
Gareth Watson.
Alrighty. What's the most heartbreaking moment for your favorite sports team?
Most heartbreaking moment for my favorite sports team when the Eagles lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl in 2022.
Tragic. Do you have a favorite sports video game?
I do, Madden 20.
Good choice. Do you have a favorite player that is not from your team?
I probably have to say Michael Parsons.
Welcome back, everyone, to Deckside Chats. I'm Jay Costa, and I will be joined by Manny Pereira.
What's up, guys? How's everything?
And Cameron Price.
How you doing, guys?
Good day today, huh? Nice segment. A lot of stuff, a lot of baseball.
I'm very excited, excited.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, before we get to the baseball, why don't we jump into the first topic? A little news came out recently about MetLife's turf. A lot of the players around the league have been complaining about the playing surface. And not to mention, Malik Neighbors just tore his ACL, I believe, a week ago. It's been a hot topic for a lot longer than this. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. tore his ACL. Nick Bosa. So many players have ruptured their Achilles, torn their ACLs on this playing surface. What do you have to say about the decision, both of you, the decision to not move to grass full time?
Yeah, I would say the narrative kind of cooled down last year, especially after they switched to a new turf. Actually, MetLife Stadium had the least amount of injuries or severe injuries from visiting players in the entire league last year. So it was a successful year, and apparently not much has changed this year. Now, that's the data. The narrative among the players is different, and this is where I think it's very interesting. An executive came out for the NFL anonymously, and he said that the players are petrified of playing in MetLife Stadium. And the New York Jets and the New York Giants pride themselves on being in the biggest market in America, in the fastest growing sport in America, which means that you should have no problem pleasing your players, because at the end of the day, it's about free agency. Who's the last big offensive free agent that the Giants have landed? Probably Kenny Galladay, if my memory serves correct. And I think a lot of it might have to do with this playing surface being a lingering issue among the players, even though the data says otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. We saw Aaron Rodgers, first season as a Jet, only last 74 seconds, and he was a big name player. He was supposed to bring tickets to the seats, all that, and I believe that you're right. Like the big free agents, they don't want to play on turf because too many injuries happen. Like again, name of a player, Sterling Shepard got injured twice, ACL, and like there's just not good stuff here. And also like if you want to put seats in the play, you want to put
fans in the
stands, you've got to get those big name players. And if the turf is hurting your big name players, you're not getting the money, you're not getting the revenue which that's going to hurt the NFL also.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a league of stars. Everyone talks about the NBA and their superstars, but the NFL is the exact same. When your star players are not on the field, I mean, look at Andrew Thomas for the Giants. A Liz Frank injury last year. It's one of many injuries he's had. When your star players aren't on the field, it completely ruins your marketability. Fans don't want to see players get demoralized. Same thing with Malik Neighbors. It really is tough to put fans in the seats when these guys aren't out on the field, and the numbers might show something different, but overall, you look at not even just the Giants field, but the turf stadiums all across the league. This is a huge problem for American football in general.
Yeah, I agree. And I heard that for the World Cup, they are transferring to grass temporarily, which I really like, so no more players can get injured. But I feel like if we want more stars in NFL, why not put the grass in there entirely? Like, there's no reason to just do it temporarily if it's just going to do this just one thing.
Yeah, I don't mean to interject with like a counterpoint here, but like you look at what a lot of what MetLife has said, even in their statement about it, they cited costs, they cited the weather, which I personally disagree with, because you look at Lambeau, and Lambeau has maintained their field for almost 60 years in worse weather. And you look at the infrastructure, they cited State Farm Stadium's infrastructure with how they can roll the grass stadium out for sunlight and maintenance. It's an open air stadium. There's no roof. And you look at Mara and Woody Johnson and the way that they handle things, and they are cheap owners, and they're cheaping out on the stadium as well.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is either convince the players that it's safe, because the stats say, at least in this new system, it's only fresh. What has it been, a year or two now? This is the second year. So either convince the players that it's safe because the data proves it, or just, change the playing service. And I think that won't happen because, like you said, the cost and all these other factors that go into it. Honestly, I think they're doing a poor job of telling everyone and letting everyone know, players and fans included, that the playing surface is much safer now, because honestly, I found out because this story came out, it's not something that has been talked about enough, in my opinion.
I also heard that the Giants and the Jets, they said that they're not planning to change anytime soon. They're going to stick with the turf, which I disagree with.
Yeah, no doubt.
Move on.
I think we've definitely talked enough about MetLife's turf. Why don't we move over to the MLB postseason? I've got two big baseball guys here. You guys helped me a lot with my notes, and I wanted to start it off with probably the most interesting game on the slate. It's Dodgers-Phillies for me. I want to hear what both of you guys have to say about it.
You want to go ahead first?
I feel like the Phillies need to do more offensive-wise. Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, they're the big stars in the team. They need to play like the big stars. Every single year we see the Phillies regular season, amazing. Like, they're going to win the World Series favorites. But then when it comes to the playoffs, they just don't know what to do. And Dodgers are a very good team. Don't get me wrong about that. But also, like, the Phillies have Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, they have Zach Wheeler. They have the weapons to deal with the Dodgers, to beat them, but it's not clicking.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in this series is going to be whether or not the Phillies get to the starting pitcher. It hasn't happened. This Dodger bullpen led the league in blown saves throughout the entire regular season, and they have a 6.97 ERA in this postseason. So obviously it's been an issue, but the Phillies aren't capitalizing on it. They got Snell into some deep counts last night, but I think the biggest thing that maybe not enough people are talking about is how badly they're pressing. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper combining for 2 for 21, 0.95 batting average with 11 strikeouts in this series. And I think the biggest example of them, perhaps, I don't want to say choke because that's harsh, but in the 6th inning when you got 2 runners on, 1 out, Harper comes up, chases a pitch, strikes out on a 3-2 count, then another 3-2 count, Nick Castellanos, fastball right down the middle, and he grounds out. And this Phillies team, especially with this core, has had a history of capitalizing on those mistakes. And we also saw a base running issue before that with Brandon Marsh, and then obviously towards the end of the game with the bunt, Castellanos didn't have the second baseman trailing, and he tries to take third and was out by 10 feet. And I think something that perhaps is going to become a huge storyline in Philly, especially if they lose, is the fact that the Phillies have not been good at being the hunted. We hear that term a lot, that it's easier to be the hunter.
Yeah.
Go all the way back to 2022. They won 86 games in the regular season, snuck into the playoffs. They weren't the favorite against St. Louis. They won that wild card series. Then they beat the Braves, who were obviously the favorite then. They beat San Diego going on the road. That series started in the Padres. And then they steal home field advantage in the World Series, and then they blow it. They got no hit at home.
Yeah.
So they pressed. Once they were the favorite to actually win it all, they pressed. 2023, they beat Atlanta. That Atlanta team was compared to the 1927 Yankees, one of the greatest offensive regular seasons we've ever seen.
Yeah.
They go in there with house money. They get the job done. And then when they're up 3-2 going at home against Arizona, they choked, right? Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Last year, home field advantage, big favorites against the Mets, they choke again. And then this year, the last year probably of this core, they all know it. They all feel it. And you can tell on the field that it's not the same Phillies team as last year, and I think, or as other years, and I think it's mental.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything, and you were kind of discussing that whole story with us beforehand, kind of giving us the run of the mill. I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, you look at this series, and it's the way that the Dodgers bullpen has been playing, you wouldn't expect them to be winning this series. I mean, all season, the Dodgers bullpen.
They were bad last night, too.
Yeah. And they're winning 2-0 in this series, but you've got to wonder how long the high-end talent is going to keep bailing them out, whether it's in this series or in the next. The players out on the field can only cover up for their bullpen for so long.
Yep.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
So my next question about this series would be, what is your prediction for this game coming up tomorrow, and as well as what do you think the series is going to be overall if you don't have the Dodgers winning tomorrow night?
Yeah, no, I think the Dodgers get the job done. I don't see Philadelphia winning both games in LA, so they'll either lose game 3 or game 4.
Yeah, LA's a hard stadium, and I think it's going to be a clean sweep.
Yeah, no doubt. I completely agree. We'll move on to the next game on the slate. Probably my most exciting team of the playoffs so far has been the Brewers against the Cubs. I love the Brewers this season. We talked a lot about it off air. Obviously, Vaughn, Contreras, and Chorizo had some good homers for Milwaukee in their last game. Just a spectacular postseason run so far. What do you guys think?
I feel like the Brewers were very shocking. You know, they lost Devin Williams to the Yankees for a trade, and they just started doing better without him. I feel like the Brewers have a clean shot to the World Series if they keep on playing, have them been playing. Their pitching is just immaculate. Their hitting is just amazing. Like, every single piece of their team is just perfect. Like, there's no other way to say it.
Yeah, it's a class organization. They've been excellent since 2018 when they got to the NLCS, pushed it to Game 7. And this is a team that has just been bringing in new cores and new guys, and they're still excellent. And I think the difference has been, in the years that they have looked good in the playoffs, is when a superstar for them steps up. It was Yelich in the beginning of the run in 2018, 2019. Now it's Jackson Chourio. In between, they didn't really have an offensive superstar, and I think that's why they were falling short in the playoffs. Now they're looking like the favorite in the NL.
Yeah, no doubt. How sweet would it be for a small market team to win the World Series? And that's all we have for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a great night.